Every story begins with a single moment of inspiration, and for me in Blood Moon, that moment was walking down a road in the small town of Fairfield, Utah, turning a corner and seeing this building. Originally called the Fairfield District School, was built in 1898, and it was in use until 1939 when it was forced to shut down despite the town's best efforts to keep it open. They did a full restoration, which was done in 2005, and it's now part of the Camp Floyd State Park. Every Halloween, I throw a witch-themed party for the women in my family. And as my husband and I approached this building, we had this collective thought, and he turned to me and said exactly what I was thinking. He said, "We've got to have the witches party here." And so in 2010, I actually booked the party here in the schoolhouse. So with this amazing venue, 100-year-old schoolhouse, a little bit creepy, out in the middle of nowhere, I needed the party to match the cool venue. So I started researching things about witches and magic, even reading up on Wicca and natural magic. And I became so fascinated with it that it became a lot more than just getting ideas for the party. My husband suggested I take all that research and turn it into a novel, start writing a story about all this amazing, interesting witch stuff that I had. So on the night of the party, the weather perfectly matched a Halloween party. It was rainy, it was cloudy, but as guests arrived, the clouds parted over the mountains behind the schoolhouse, and the full moon was there, yellow and big. And one of the things I learned while I was researching is that witches name every full moon, and the October full moon is called the blood moon. It was a complete coincidence that our party happened on the night of this full moon, and it was just too cool a connection not to use in the book. So I decided that the witch's magic would be strongly tied to the moon, and also the story itself is a race against time. It's a race to bind the most powerful kind of magic, and it can only happen on the night of the blood moon. Fairfield has one other connection to the development of Blood Moon. One day, our youngest daughter desperately needed a nap, and she was having a really hard time going down. And I needed some thinking time, so I stuck her in the car and we drove out here, and when she was fast asleep, I pulled into the tiny Fairfield cemetery and parked. And I started thinking about Willa. I needed to decide who she was and what her motivations were. And inspired by the rich history of this place, I decided that she would be a historian, someone who loves and honors history and the past. And since the story moves between past and present, it made perfect sense. And then also I decided, because she was kind of born here, that her last name should be Fairfield. Blood Moon is a reinvention and a revitalization of witches and witchcraft. I hope that readers find everything that they have loved about witches in the past, as well as a whole bunch of new things to get excited about and fall in love with.